The Liberal Party are set to unveil their climate policy tomorrow at noon, after a marathon meeting today at which Conservatives like Angus Taylor and Andrew Hastie pushed to scrap net zero, while moderates warned that doing so could cost votes. And now Jim Chalmers has jumped in with a statement saying, and I quote, "Cleaner, cheaper, more reliable and increasingly renewable energy is the best way to grow and strengthen our economy into the future, and we call on the coalition not to sacrifice that to their right-wing extremism." Joining me now to discuss is broadcaster Lucy Zelic and former Labor Senator Stephen Conroy. Welcome to you both. Lucy, I'll start with you. I'm annoyed by how long this has taken the Liberal Party. Now, am I mistaken, or maybe process is really important?
Oh, you don't want to ask Stephen about this issue because he's so bedded down in this idea that he's had to be a part of the process and they had to go through all of this and the consultation and the listening tour and everything. I am frustrated with how long it's taken, but only because it has been such a debacle, stretching back to the disaster on May 3 with the election result and to now how things have unfolded. I think so many of us have had our views on what we think of Sussan Ley as the leader of this party, if she was the right person for the job or if it was just a cosmetic decision to try and appease everybody who constantly complained that the Liberal Party had an issue with women. But ultimately now, when it comes to this, make your minds up already. Enough is enough. You have both, particularly for Sussan Ley, who has been in politics for over 2 decades, understands very well what goes on when it concerns energy policy and what should be the best pathway forward. If you don't know by now, we have serious and far bigger problems than what's already going on with the factionism within this party.
And I think we do. That's a scary thing. But Stephen, the weird thing to me about Sussan Ley, talking about her leadership, is I still don't know, and maybe you've heard and I missed it, but I still don't know where she stands on the issue of net zero. That doesn't sound like leadership to me.
Well, look, the first thing is that Sussan isn't actually one of the moderate left-wingers. Sussan wanted the job. A right-winger was running against her, and she was more centre-right than a moderate left-wing Liberal. But the left-wingers didn't want Angus Taylor, so they got behind Sussan. And so she's caught between needing to try and keep her base for leadership, the moderate, left-wing Liberals, but she's always leaned more into the centre-right camp. So the reason she's so conflicted is because she has to keep those moderate Liberals on board or her leadership's finished. It probably is finished, but that's where her dilemma, and to take your words, a lack of leadership comes. But can I just say, as a Labor person of 40 plus years, I rejoice at watching the Liberal Party absolutely self-immolate, where they decide that they don't care what Liberal Party voters think.
Don't worry, Stephen. Don't worry, Stephen. Once you start paying $2,000 for your energy bills, you'll come over to the dark side. 40 years on the wrong side, and we will welcome you to the Liberal Party with open arms.
You have been predicting that since 2013 with Tony Abbott. But you can't ignore, Lucy, that Malcolm Turnbull, Scott Morrison, Peter Dutton all committed to 2050 net zero.
They all did, and where are they?
And they've since acknowledged, also Tony Abbott has also since acknowledged that it was a mistake. He's also acknowledged it was a mistake, and we are allowed to do that in politics. Look, in fact, it is more honourable to admit that it is a mistake.
I don't want to break your heart, but you're quoting a man who couldn't stay as Prime Minister of this country for more than 18 months.
Because he had a disturbed individual like Malcolm Turnbull with his knife out ready to stab him in the back. You try surviving a party like that.
Abbott? Did you miss Tony Abbott stabbing Malcolm Turnbull in the back somewhere in there?
He deserved it, and I think we all, with the benefit of hindsight, can see that Malcolm Turnbull has shown his colours.
The person you were saying is the political purist that we should follow couldn't keep his job as Prime Minister of Australia for more than 18 months before his own party threw him out. But he's the guy we want to take advice from about how to win an election in 2028.
Well, Stephen, let me ask you...
2013 to 2014, he was Prime Minister. Your next election is 2028. You feel free to take the advice of someone who couldn't keep his job for more than 18 months.
Well, Stephen, the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, wants the Coalition to take his advice. He's calling them extremists if they reject net zero, when his government is pushing renewables that are sending bills through the roof. Who's the extremist here?
Well, I think Jim's being soft. I think they're a bunch of knuckle draggers. I mean, seriously,
Oh my God.
Australians overwhelmingly want renewable energy. We have the highest per capita solar panel installations in the world.
And how's that
Australians have made
working
their
out?
minds up
How is
about
that
this.
working out for Australian taxpayers and those who are doing it tough right now, Stephen?
Where is your investment in coal-fired power station? Matt Canavan, I love Matt. I think he's fantastic. I just think he's wasting his political career. Matt Canavan spent 9 years, even when he was a senior cabinet minister in charge of a fund that could fund this, demanding that the Liberal National Party's coalition pay for a new coal-fired power station. 9 years, zip. Now you're trying to say we want coal-fired power stations to stay open longer. I agree. But coal-fired power stations are on their last legs because for 9 years, federally, most of those closures were announced while the federal Liberal Party were in government. You had Matt Keane in New South Wales closing them down. You've got Chris... the Premier of Queensland, he actually is sticking with climate targets. Chris Foley, thank you. He's sticking with climate policy. The Tasmanian guy is sticking with climate policy. And knuckle draggers and the federal Liberals. The purity, to be pure, I love it.
Okay, so then explain to me, explain to me, are we supposed to go all that way back now, Stephen, and try and blame the Liberal Party for the existing energy problem at the moment? So are the Liberal Party over a decade ago to blame for my energy bills at the moment, which stem way over $1,000? Is it still their fault, even after we've had the Albanese government in power for the last 3 years?
Well, if your argument is that we need coal-fired power stations...
No, just answer the question.
Down,
is it still,
yes.
Still
the
their
answer
fault?
Is yes, because they closed down on the Liberals' watch. You don't get to go, if only we had more coal-fired power stations. You're in government for 9. If you believe that coal-fired power stations are the solution, why did you let so many close?
Stephen, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on that point. But the point that I want you to also specifically acknowledge is that renewable energy is not helping the problem. It is not the messiah as it's been described by the Labor Party and the Albanese government.
Just like the New South Wales government have extended the life of a coal-fired power station in New South Wales. Correct, the best solution. We're building and supporting more gas coming out of the ground. That's actually what's going on at the moment. We are managing the transition from coal, gas ultimately, but gas is a vital part of this equation, and renewables into the future. That's what Australians want to see. That's what they keep voting for. That's what every poll, including the one handed to the Liberal Party.
No, they said no.
Here's what I know, and that is
they said the Liberal Party research is wrong.
Everybody wants
everyone
wants their power bills to come down, and I'm not convinced after what I've seen from the Liberal Party today that they're going to offer that much better than Labor, other than just a slower version of what's already happening. We'll watch tomorrow to see what they come up with. I want to ask you both about Anthony Albanese's upcoming wedding. While the Coalition are arguing over policy, the PM is preparing for his wedding to Jodie Hayden. It's tipped to take place just before Christmas. Now, check out how Channel 7 are promoting the story. Here it is. The countdown's on for Australia's royal wedding. Lucy, Channel 7 have lost the plot, haven't they?
Don't call it the royal wedding. I mean, look, do you know what? At some point, we as human beings have to really tap into that fact, right? We may disagree when it comes to politics, but I still respect Anthony Albanese. He's the Prime Minister of our country. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's getting married, I think, is a wonderful occasion.
Agreed.
But is it absolutely insane to refer to it as the royal wedding? Is it hyperbolic? Is it sensationalist? Is it stupid? Yes, it is. I'm sorry, with all due respect. It is not a royal wedding.
Stephen, how do you think Elbow, a Republican, would feel about the fact he's having a royal wedding?
Well, look, I'm with Lucy 100% on this one. like, goodness me, a royal wedding. Look, let's be happy for Albo and Joe.
Absolutely.
Good on them.
Yep.
And everyone, always enjoys, a wedding and those sorts of things. But to elevate it to a royal wedding, I don't think Albo and Joe want that. But I'm 100% agree with both of you. The royal wedding concept really needs to die tomorrow.
Yeah, and just to be fair, again, I know you said this, Stephen, but it's not Elbow claiming he's having a royal wedding. No. That's the way Channel 7 are hyping it up. All right, finally some common sense out of Victoria. I was talking about it earlier. Jacinta Allen announcing a dramatic crackdown on violent youth crime with offenders as young as 14 now facing adult courts. Life in prison will be the maximum jail sentence for things like aggravated home invasion, aggravated carjacking, other serious offences will carry up to 20 to 25 years jail. Here's some of what she said.
Victoria will introduce adult time for violent crime, where the courts will treat children for these crimes like adults, where jail will be more likely and sentences will be longer.
Lucy Zelic, is this a good policy from the Victorian Premier?
Of course it is, but why did it take her so long to arrive to this point? I mean, you have had this issue boiling over in Melbourne for some time now, and people have been crying out, particularly victims, for change in this space, for our courts to recognise that serious punishments need to be handed out. And I tell you what, if I hear the word Dolly Incapax, the two words, one more time, I think I'm going to scream, because we often refer to, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of human rights and legal experts who will come out and try.
There are already.
This, of course, they're screeching as it is. But, when you think about what's actually occurring there and the violence that is involved in these crimes and the fact that these are young children committing them, these are calculated crimes, you cannot tell me that they are not aware of what they're doing when they are masking their faces up, grabbing knives, breaking into people's homes, stealing cars. I mean, these are horrific crimes of which there are serious consequences for the victims, but as it stands, not for them. The issue is now that I think we only have about 9 days left of Parliament for them to try and be able to resolve this and get it through. And I know that Brad Batten was deeply insulted on behalf of the victims because of this, because he felt like it wasn't something that was handled in a more thorough and efficient way. It seems like this is a half-baked legislation that hasn't been given even more thought. So, is it too little too late? I don't want to say that because they had to do something, but too much has happened for us to be able to sit here.
It's funny when you ask, is it too little too late? Because you could ask that question from two fronts. Is it too little too late to solve the crime crisis? And might it be too little too late for Jacinta Allen? Stephen, is this a sign that the next election isn't the slam dunk maybe a lot of people are assuming it is? She's done a complete backflip here.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, if the Liberal Party could find a leader who could read, write, not dribble on camera, they might be more competitive. But I just think that the Allen government have finally said enough is enough. They've said the youth advocates and those legal aid organisations, they are just wrong. The legal aid advocates do not want to accept that these kids aren't from some broken family where, their parents have mistreated them or whatever. This is part of an organised crime gang operation. The crime gangs pay these kids to break into people's homes, threaten them with machetes, steal their cars. What do they think they're doing with the cars? They're not handing them back. This is part of an organised crime ring who've been exploiting the laws. And the Allen government has said enough is enough, and they want to see an end to it. And that is a good thing and should be congratulated, the governments, because those child advocates just will not accept what is really going on. And they hide behind these principles and want to pretend that organised crime is not manipulating and paying these kids to go and do what they've been doing.